What is going on, X community? Exostomp here, and today, people, we're going to be going over the post power rankings for the TEC off season for season 2. This is low tier, so this is going to be on my channel. But joining me today is going to be two people that you guys may or may not know. But we have Dragons of Smite here.
Hello, peeps.
And we've got Lou Cats as well.
Yeah, I'd be very concerned if you didn't know who I was, considering I'm running the division.
Exactly.
But,
and before we start and do any rankings, the first thing I do want to say is that I didn't do like anything here. This was all Dragons here. He set up this whole thing, so yeah, give him all the credit here. So if you like how it looks, and also the first slide. Would you like to talk about this?
all right. Well, today's sponsor is myself. So, there's a big art community out there. I've made a lot of Pokemon pins in the past, but we have just launched a new Kickstarter, and Kickstarter's a fundraising platform for artists like myself who want to put their name out there and get stuff funded for them at a cheaper price. And I just got a Kickstarter going on with like people's favorite fish and aquatic mammals in like a certain job or a food aspect, hence the fish food or friends. And that's kind of like the catfish, if you see in the upper right hand corner. We just made a play on words and made a cat and a fish and slapped it together and played with a kelp ball. Or like the food aspect, we got a turtle as a ramen bowl, and we're really close to being completely funded on all of our pins. So far, we only have 6 of the 7 designs, and if you were just willing to even just like giving us a like on Instagram, Exo will put everything down in the link in the bio, and just like come give us a shout out and help us any means necessary would be amazing. Just because I put in like 2.5 hours into this would be a big heart, and I appreciate it.
Yeah, the turtle one looks really cool.
Thank you. That's the one we have left to fund.
Oh man! All right, guys, you guys better get on that. Definitely. All right.
And then I guess we'll get on. We do want to say one thing. This is our opinions. It's not meant to feel like we're attacking you. It's just constructive criticism. We're gonna point out good things, some bad things, probably a lot of bad things because that makes it funnier. But it'll help teach you why like your draft necessarily isn't good. And if you watch every single person's, we can go as into why these teams are good and why these teams are bad. So like,
right, and I do want to say also that the no, you know what? Let's just get to the first one here, and we can talk about it. So the first one here is going to be Braden's team, which is the Detroit Decidueyes. And yeah, who wants to start here?
Let the cat start.
I wrote some notes down. on them all. And this it was quite funny actually, because it took me probably a good 5 minutes of looking at the team to realize that the speed issue. Just having your fastest speed be 80 is just a problem on its own. Not necessarily because you can't have stuff that's fast. There's a lot of good scarfers around, like Viport's a decent scarf, Gardevoir is obviously a really good scarf, X-Bound and Braviary are both good scarfs. It's more so the problem that anything from about base 95 speed all the way up just gets to run Modest and a load of bulk or adamant, and you just get destroyed defensively, basically. So anything that's like something that's base 110 can literally run plus attack nature or plus special attack nature, literally run max bulk, and is still faster than everything that it wouldn't have been faster than anyway. And that's going to be a massive problem for Braden over the course of the season, which is kind of the main issue with the team. But the actual synergy itself, I like quite a bit. I think Gardevoir is obviously a really good mod, and it pairs well with Surfetched. It pairs well nicely defensively with Doublade as well, with stuff like Drampa helping it out. So I like everything about the team, apart from the speed tiers, which gives it a massive problem.
Want to go Exo next?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with those points. There's a few things that I do want to point out. Number one, And this is for most teams. A lot of teams don't have defensive waters. And now like I understand you go hyper offense, sure, but like having a defensive water is kind of mandatory in low tier because it's such a solid thing to have. If you don't have it, you're gonna be running into scalds and even if you have for example, there's a Vileplume here. 95% of water types have like ice beam, right? So like you're gonna get hit by that then. And so this team is extremely weak to scald plus ice beam spam. There's also 3 normal types that are like
So I was gonna bring that up.
yeah, right. There's like 3 and you don't need them. Like you could switch it up. Try to get like I don't know, a base 100 on this team. There's plenty of them. You just find one,
Yeah.
switch it up, and yeah, I think overall the team is okay. I think I put it 15th, and you guys put them 16th.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. But what else?
I'll get my little 2 cents. I don't know why Exploud is on this team. Drampa just does Exploud's job completely. There's absolutely no reason for Exploud here. So you could literally just suck up the like 8-9 points Exploud is and give it to like a fire type. And like a fire type, especially if you can find a faster one, would like a Rapidash, I would probably assume is undrafted. You could probably slap Rapidash and fix
Yeah,
quite a
Rapidash
bit
is
of
undrafted. It was
issues.
my backup.
Yeah, it's a pretty good mod you could just slap here, and it would fix quite a bit of problems you have. I mean, it's not going to fix everything, but this team's just really reliant on Vikavolt setting up those webs and trying to abuse off that, and I don't think
And
that's
even then, people
necessarily
just running like 6 boots is very easy counterplay to that.
exactly.
If they wanted to.
It's not an effective strategy, and webs aren't the most reliable thing in the world. It's a good option, but it's not something you fall back on.
Yeah, you shouldn't have to rely on them, which this team feels like it does.
Yep. All right, let's
Yeah.
go on to the next.
Just sorry, one more thing
Nope.
I forgot
Yeah,
to mention.
you're good.
Gardevoir and Surfetched are a really good combination. I really like that. And then you do have that web support to help both of them out. So that's why I didn't put them last necessarily, but I do understand why you guys put them last 100%. So, yep. All right, let's go on to the next
Oh, my
one.
laptop turned off.
Yeah. All
We don't
right.
need that.
So here we have Finley's team, the Toronto Tepics. All right.
I think it's worth pointing out that the next 5 are all really, really close in overall points. I think they were separated by like 3 or 4 overall.
Yeah.
So it's a slightly harsh 15th, I think, in a sense.
Yeah. Like I would say 15 through maybe even 11 are all just very same ballpark. Could probably be interchanged quite a bit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Someone else start this time.
You want me to go? I'll go. So the problem I have with this team is it doesn't pack a punch. Like everything that's here requires some kind of setup, or the good part about this team is the same amount of hazards you have and hazard removal, and so you could use that with your lackluster chip. But the issue is having so many setters means your team is a little more passive, and without having breaking power, I feel like this team just doesn't provide enough to compete with the higher end teams necessarily. I don't know if anybody else wants to give their take on that.
Yeah, that's pretty much kind of the main issue I had. It just you look at it and you're not particularly scared of any mons hitting you offensively outside of maybe like a Duraludon if it's specs or something. Otherwise, there's not a lot of immediate power there. There's also a slightly weird double grass going on. I see no reason why you'd ever want to bring Jumpluff, particularly.
Speed.
And the team's also a little bit ghost weak because Zoroark
Mm.
isn't a reliable switch in those situations.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I don't know how many times you're bringing Greed in. I'm gonna be honest.
Whoa, hold on.
Greedent's a legend, honestly.
Greedy it adds some great value. Okay.
I mean, with Slowking Trick Room, you never know. It could do wonders. Gorgeist gets Trick Room as well, I think.
Yeah.
Does it
I
get
think
so.
Trick Room?
Yeah, I've used Trick Room Gorgeist before. It does.
Oh, then I lied. Then there's 2 Trick Room setters in my prep.
There you go. I do also want to mention this that like there's so many duplicate typings, guys. Like, listen, 2 waters. I mean, fine. One's offensive, one's defensive. All right, I understand that. That's fine. Then you got two, what's it called, two steel types. I guess same thing. One's offensive, one's defensive, but like, okay, you're kind of pushing it. Then you got two ground types, and I'm like, okay, you got two flying types. All right, listen. There's so many types that you can cover here, and they're not here. Like number one, having a really nice electric type is really nice here because you will basically have to get people to kind of realize, okay, I might need to bring my ground type just to counter this electric type. But without an electric type, they might not even have to bring the ground type. So honestly, that's something maybe to look into. Try to switch up some typings and stuff like that. Like I don't know why Cramorant's here personally, but yeah,
Memes.
yeah.
Yeah, like necessarily, I would get rid of Fortress and Rhydon because Sandslash can be your spike setter and your rapid spinner. So necessarily, they're doing the same thing. The only thing is, Volt Switch is what Fortress gets. It sets it different, but I think it's generally a worse Pokemon. But you don't need Rhydon. You got Sandslash. What's Rhydon doing for you? So.
Yep. Definitely agree with that.
Yeah, the other thing I've got written down is actually incorrect because I completely forgot Golgo Small existed. I said there was a tiny speed gap, but there actually isn't because I think 85 to 99 just about works.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move on.
Let's move on. We got TNT. All right. So I guess
And the stall team.
Yeah, I can start with this one. The main thing I first saw was you got Registeel, Aloe, which is like usual in the Forge, low tier stuff, so to be expected. But then you have Florges. Okay, so now you're just pushing it. You got like Mudsdale. There's a lot of defensive mons. Why are there like 3 Wish Passers? Can I ask? Like, why do you need 3 Wish Passers here?
Are you really running Wish on Leafeon most of the time?
But then why do you have Leafeon?
I need Grass type. I don't know.
Sure. And then you got like Archeops and Meloetta as your big offensive mons, which is fine.
I mean, don't sleep on Bolton, to be fair.
Yeah, I was
Bolton
gonna say
can be very, very
Bolton
strong.
hits.
I'm saying as your
Yeah.
big offensive mons. Bolton's there.
I think I got 6 kills with Bolton last off season. It's decent.
How
Yeah,
the
I've seen-
heck?
I've seen Bolton beat Zamazenta C before, so it's nothing to sleep on. It hits.
Okay, well, overall though, I think this team is missing out on a lot of offense. Yeah.
Yeah. It becomes the first of about 6 teams as well to have the 100 speed gap. Although it's the least bad offender of the lot. There's a load of teams with like a 110 to 90 speed gap. This one's at least 110 to 95.
Mm-hmm.
But there's still ones like obviously Keldeo isn't legal, but Keldeo's speed tier can run modest on that, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just.
There's not much to say about this one.
Yeah, I think if it had phasing options outside of raw Registeel, I think it would probably be better. But it's stall, which is incredibly passive, without phasing options. So it against teams with lots of good setup options. Like for example, I just wrote like bulky Carmine Zatu as the first thing that came to mind. There's not a lot of counterplay to that TNT can work with. The team gets set up on very, very easily.
I mean, with stall though, also you want to have at least a spike setter because of that option to have like roar and stuff like that. Because there's not for instance, if you're not bringing those 3 offensive mons that we listed, let's say you only bring 1 or 2, if they switch in and die randomly or something, you can't break anything. Like there's nothing to really break.
I also wrote down that it could maybe use an extra special attacker compared to a physical attacker.
Yeah.
In those extra ones, just because you're relying on Meloetta to be your special offense entirely.
Yeah.
See, I have a major issue with this team necessarily because I love playing stall in draft, and to see stall without momentum really you're gonna struggle to do anything. You're just gonna be set up. You're gonna be toxic. You're gonna be whittled down. You're not going to be able to effectively play your stall out. You're going to actually get outstalled of your stall by people who can pivot better than you. So you're just going to struggle, and that's mostly what I see.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right, we going on?
Yeah, let's go to the next one.
I think this
Yeah.
one might be the most polarized one between the three of us.
I believe so.
Is it?
There's a few of them, but
Yeah,
this
I
is
think
one of the
we were
first ones.
surprisingly close together on most of them, to be fair.
Yeah,
Okay, all right. Then who
you're
wants to start?
starting then, EXO.
Oh, all right. Well, I guess I'll start since I think I put them 16th. So, listen, Regidrago looks really appetizing until you realize everyone has a fairy type. Okay, what about Kling Clang? I hate Kling Clang. Okay, it doesn't do anything.
It's a non-mon.
There was better options there, and you picked Kling Clang. I'm sorry, I don't like it. You got Pikachu. You got Swirlix. Why? No. You have Kabutops. That's your water type, which it dies to like, freaking like absorb. So, it's gonna die. It's not a defensive water type. You really don't have any backbone to this team. This team is, I need to get Regidrago in and win. That's what it's gonna do, or try to do. There is a Moltres Galar, I see that, but there's nothing to help it out. There's nothing to, I mean, besides like Espeon that could set up screens, but besides that, I don't really see much that this team does well.
Am I the only one who?
I think it's a
You
team
go.
that can definitely be used very well if you make good plays around it, because it's obviously got a lot of scary things. It synergizes really nicely offensively. It's basically just hyper offense with like a Sandaconda on it, basically, and you can run certain mons more bulky like Decidueye, but it's got to rely on being able to beat the opponent before you get beaten, which isn't always an infallible strategy. It's also got my favorite little 20-point speed gap there between 110 and 90, which about 6 teams have. In here, so it's not necessarily like too big a criticism, but it is a slight problem. But yeah, it's just hyper offense pretty much, where it's not going to be infallible, but it's good at what it can do. But I think in draft you want to be able to have multiple ways you can play a match.
Am I the only one who thinks Pikachu's actually not an awful Pokemon?
Oh no, I rate Pikachu.
It's not awful.
Yeah, like Light Ball Pikachu hits, and you can make it go physical or special. You don't. That leaves the surprise open for you. And I mean, Swirlix, it's a dog shit mob, but it can provide webs if you absolutely want it to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Outside of that, the only good thing I see about this team is Regidrago and Salazzle work like excellently with each other. Like being able to deal with the fairies that Draco doesn't want to deal with, and then switching into a 1/4 time move with Salazzle, and then pressing sub can actually do a lot of damage.
Can I
surprisingly to a team?
What fairy types does Salazzle beat? Like what does it beat?
Let's just see. Okay, Brayden didn't draft a fairy, which I don't think Finley drafted a fairy.
That's
TNT. Well, Florges it beats without a doubt.
He has a Slurpuff.
Florges has
Slurpuff?
Psychic. Slurpuff
Oh.
has Surf and Psyshock.
Yeah, but if
and...
Slurpuff isn't getting its Unburden procced, it's not outspeeding it.
It runs a Poison Berry. And then it outspeeds anyways after
guess.
next turn. So
But is it taking a
Yes.
Sludge Wave from it?
yes, 100%.
Alright. Well,
If it is, it's the Poison Berry. Yeah.
Snubble. Klefki, I don't know. Klefki can't really beat Salazzle.
Well, we'll get to the Klefki
Yeah,
soon.
well,
I
I'll
have things
keep
to say
going.
about
Yeah.
Klefki.
It does well against quite a bit of them.
It's just so squishy, man. I just really hate
is
squishy
squishy, but-
mons.
I've enjoyed Salazzle in regular format quite a bit, to be fair. I have like 11 kills of it, I think, which is fairly decent.
It's worse Crobat, let's be honest here.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. All right. Well,
Yeah, I think that's it.
all right.
This team.
Let's go on to the next one here. We got Kyler Stern. Oh man, this team looks good. I don't know where to start, so who wants to start here?
I'll start on Kyler. Good old SPDL miners. I think the thing with Kyler's team here is he kind of went halfway on going for a Rain Core, didn't commit to it, and then the team ends up being very modelled as a result. which I think is exemplified by the fact that there is a Galvantula webs on here where the webs achieve very, very little.
Exactly.
Because Durant and Neuvern and Galvantula are already very, very fast on their own and don't really need web support. There's no mid-speed tier breaker that webs are really going to help out outside of Seismitoad, outside of Rain, which would be quite weird.
I just don't like this. I'm gonna be honest. I don't really like this team. It doesn't appeal to me. And yeah, you're right with the rain comp. I don't know. A Snubble and a Drifloon at the end. It doesn't feel like anything supports each other outside, the rain portion.
Yeah. I feel like if he'd fully committed on it and gone for a Kingdra in one of those middle
Yeah.
slots, I think this team skyrockets up. But it's because he kind of half committed to it. It kind of ends up being a little bit muddled the way I see it.
Durant for Kingdra? Would that be a good trade? Maybe drop
I feel
like
like
the
that would be a
Drifloon?
very good trade for this team.
Yeah. I could see the shooting up after that.
It's tough. It's tough because you have to draft 10 mons. It is really hard to kind of fit in all these expensive mons. So yeah, you'd have to drop a good mon on this team, or a good looking mon on this team, to actually get this Kingdra. Kingdra plus Rain is extremely broken. Honestly, I don't know why it's not higher, but that's besides the point. I don't know why Stunfisk is here. There's a steal. It's a good steal and good water on here already, so I don't know why you have that there. You got Drifloon and Snubble, which I don't think will do much. Snubble's here, like, what, for Ricky Drago?
Brought Snubble the week 1. He did.
Yeah. Yeah, it's worth pointing out Kyler and I think it was Zeb Striker have played so far. They're the only team. They're the only
Yeah.
team.
It was the Sam versus the Rain team, which was interesting.
Yeah.
The Sam won, by the way.
Yeah, it was a game that
Spoiler.
exemplified
Whoa, spoiler.
why Kyler's team has a slight issue with its composition.
Yeah.
Well,
Watch the match, you'll see. But
yeah, I don't know. I think the thing with this team is that the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 mons are actually really good. The last 3 kind of make it look worse, in my opinion, because you got Miltank that helps out the Noivern well. It has Sap Sipper for the side. This whole team works well. It's just the last 3 that make it look bad. But there's not much that you can do because you don't have a lot of points left. So maybe, I mean, Snubble's not that good. If you really want, you could switch it out for like another fairy. But if you're comfortable with it, hey, by all means, keep it.
Snubble's not a bad one-pointer.
Yeah, I think the only other thing I'd mention about this one is it's a little bit fighting weak and ground weak, just in terms of like Noivern and Galvantula being responses to those types isn't the most reliable in the world, but it can work. It can work.
I agree with that. All right, move on.
Yep, let's go on next one. We got Lappers team. How do you get up here? What the hell? All right.
Because it's not a bad HO team.
I don't know
I
about
think
that.
hot take, which is my opinion on this, because this probably got like 1 less point than Orange Soda's team, because of how close the them is here. I think Orange Soda's team is a better version of the same concept here.
Really?
Yeah, I prefer it just because it has at least something that can come in and take a hit and get out.
Right.
Whereas this team is very much going to struggle to get mons like Blaziken and Aerodactyl in, I feel like.
Yeah.
It's reliant on the Klefki for so many things that Klefki can't all do at the same time because it's only a Klefki.
Well, because I think very differently.
Well,
I guess at least what I also know Lappers for like 4 years, and I know he just drafts HO and he does well. So maybe it's a little bit of bias towards it. But like when I've seen Lappers draft, he doesn't draft any defensive options. Like he'll draft 1. He at least got like a Klefki and a Shaman and a Druddigan, and even if he wants to bring a Dottler of Eviolite, that can tank hits too. Like the issue is he doesn't have pivot. That's the problem.
I think literally adding 1 defensive pivot to this team makes it so much better in my mind. But I think it's the fact that last season in off season I had Blaziken and Frostlass, and I had no defensive pivots, and the difficulty in getting those mons in is astronomical without a defensive pivot because they're just not bulky enough to be able to take hits coming in.
Yeah. Number 1,
same thing applies to Aerodactyl.
Like this type of a team, again, I'm gonna say it because so many of these teams they have this problem. If you don't have a switch into Scald plus Ice Beam, you're going to lose to water types. Your switch in is a Sharpedo. What? That thing is not. That thing is
You're
not.
Klefki.
Klefki is gonna get skull burned, and then it can't really survive much longer unless it has like rest or whatever. You know, it's pain
To be
split.
fair, Dry Skin Heliolisk kind of does okay in that situation.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Ice Beam hits them pretty hard, depending on like what mon we're talking about. I'm saying like in general, Skull plus
Yeah.
Ice Beam
Yeah,
is annoying to deal with without a defensive.
I'd also like to praise this one for very good speed tiers for the most part. The only slight issue is the 80 to 95, which isn't even that big a deal.
Yeah.
It's got
Not
some
when
good
you
speed
have
on there.
the higher speed that he has either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I think this is a good example to talk about Braden's team. Look at the number of mons that Lapras is able to run with attack boosting natures.
Yeah.
Way too many.
It's 5, because I think even Sharpedo could.
I probably will. Yeah, probably could, yeah. Now I think about
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, and
Especially with a speed boost.
one more thing to mention is that like Heliolisk itself is extremely good in a meta where all weathers are allowed. So I will say that
Yeah.
I did move Lapras up a little bit because I did have to move some down after looking at speed tiers. So I did move him up a little. I think he's 13th on my list now. So it's not the worst team, but I think there could be some pretty massive improvements just moving around a few things.
Yeah.
Brayden, if you're still watching, EXO put you 4th and then looked at your speed tiers.
Did I really?
Oh, I would
You
have
had
put him
him
like 6 or
fourth.
7. I had him like 6 or 7, then realized, oh wait, the speed tiers.
Yeah. I honestly, on paper, it looks like a good team, and then you look at the
Yeah,
speed.
it really does. It really does.
Yeah.
Oh,
Alright.
Andy, you misspelled Peterborough.
Oh no.
No, it has that on the dock. It's Petersburg.
Does it actually?
Yeah, see? I
Oh
copied it word
my
for word.
God.
Or letter
No,
for
it
letter.
says Peterborough. It says Peterborough. There's no S there.
Does it?
Yeah, it's a
Oh,
place in
no.
the UK. It's a place in the UK.
Well, I know it is. It was just like... Okay, never mind. Let's go on.
Oh wow. Wow.
Keep on pronouncing this.
I'm the only one that put this man 6th. Oh my God.
I didn't hate it. It just came at the bottom of the middle pile for me. On this one.
Is it because of the speed?
I know. I just think this is probably... At least after ranking all the Forge Hail teams that happened, this seems like it's the worst one I've seen. And that's kind of what I went with. And the speed, yeah, it kind of does hurt it too.
Yeah, the speed isn't great, but it's not the main issue. I think the main issue for me, if I can find it, where it's written down.
I have it pivots and
it's-
hazards.
Yeah, I think it's another team where he's going to struggle to get those mons in. You look at the Hail Core plus Relegator isn't the bulkiest one in the world, and he's going to struggle to get all those mons in. Which was
Yeah,
kind
he's
of
got
my main issue.
he's got a Slowbro Galar, and I mean Guzzlord can be somewhat tanky.
Yeah,
because
I
just of his
enjoy AV
raw
Guzzlord.
HP. Yeah, it's just this team doesn't really do much. I feel like it just gets run over.
Yeah,
Pretty quick.
the triple normal as well. There's no reason to ever bring Delcatty.
Whoa. Hey, wait a minute. Hey. Delcatty's a good mom.
No, stop it. No.
Wait, Furfur is 102 speed?
Yeah.
I did not even know that. The heck?
It's also got U-turn.
No, fair enough. That's
I
decent.
didn't even know that either. I'm gonna be
Yeah.
honest.
It's
Well, it's
like,
okay because you're probably never bringing it, but you know.
I mean, I think the team itself, initially looking at it, I think it supports itself well. I think hazards could be a problem, but like Marowak isn't bad. I don't know. And then like the momentum could be a problem. I will admit, like getting Feraligatr in safely is a little hard, unless you bring
Yeah, I think
Furfur
on a
like
team
every
that's
game.
as offensive as this one is, you could use an extra pivot for sure.
Yeah,
I think you need 2 extra pivoters because how many games are you bringing Furfrou to?
every game.
Every game? I mean, you might need to, honestly. To have some kind of momentum.
I don't know. I think on paper, again, this is another one that, like, on paper it looks fine, and then you kind of look at the hazards, momentum, etc., and it's like,
A lot of common weaknesses.
yeah, true. Yeah, wow, fighting. Oh my god.
Yeah, if Slowbro Galore is your answer to fighting types, which is just gonna get knocked off, you've just lost your fighting answer. So I don't know what to say.
I think it's okay. I think it's a team that, like, man, Slowbro is
It's good.
a
I
really
like
good
it.
like
I
later
enjoy
pick.
it. I
Yeah.
like it.
All right.
I wish it got teleport. Honestly, that was the
Yeah,
biggest.
if it got teleported, it'd be really, really good.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
Move on. Here we got
Ariana.
Ariana. Or is it-
I think I actually single-handedly decided the order of the last two because I had Groyon 14th and Ariana 13th, and I think they were separated by like 1 point.
Okay.
So it's like they were very close in my rankings personally.
Yeah.
I
just-
rated Ariana highly. I just like the bulk of this team, honestly, and it does have some decent. Like Cloisters are always a threat to set up.
Yeah,
And Jolteon Talonflame can put in some damage, and Pangoro. And Pangoro plus Bronzong is a disgusting duo.
yeah. It's got a lot of good parts of it for sure.
Mm-hmm. Hazard's good. I mean, they're not really running spikes much on Cloister, but it's there.
There's a
If you
slight
have
lack
one.
of removal, I guess. That's kind of, I think that was the main thing I downgraded
Yeah.
it on initially. And there's also 2 speed gaps I've written down. Yeah, 115 to 95 and then 95 to 70.
Yeah, that's ouch. Both of them.
Mm-hmm.
Usually 2 speed gaps. Otherwise, I like the mons on paper here. It's as soon as you look at like the speeds and the little lack of hazard removal that it falls down a bit for me. In terms of like the core switching mons in to cover each other, this team works really, really well.
So synergizing, it works well.
I think it works fine. It's just, man, I'm looking at it, and it's another team that's like really fighting weak.
There's a lot of that's just a low tier problem in general, though.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean,
Just get a good.
I mean, you can always make bulky Talonflame work if you need it
yeah.
to.
I guess, yeah, that's fair. Also another another. I mean, I don't count Cloister as a defensive water type because of
It's
the special. So, yeah, another one that's not defensive.
I just got Gastrodon. Gastrodon can run pretty defensively.
Oh my god, I didn't even see Gastrodon. There you go.
Yeah, Gastrodon
Gastrodon-
Cradily is a fairly decent call.
Uh-huh. The issue I have with he's got a good Gastrodon Cradily core, but the thing is you want to run a lot of Pokemon that are weak to water types,
Mhm.
so that way you can bait in getting those Pokemon to proc their abilities. And he's got a Talonflame that's weak to it, and besides that, I mean, what Chinchino doesn't and Pangoro don't like getting scalded, but how many times are you really bringing Scald if he's got double Storm Drain?
True. Yeah.
It just
Yeah.
feels like a little lack of hindsight there.
No, I like it. I like her team on paper a lot. It's just the
Yeah.
little details that kind of bring it down a bit.
Right.
Yeah, pretty much.
I think I need to lead on the next one.
Okay. All right. Then why don't you
'Cause,
lead?
I put Zach at number 3 on my personal list, which was far higher than both of you did.
Yeah,
Yep.
I don't know what it is about it. I just really, really like the
it's
main.
aesthetically pleasing. I will give you that
I
immediately.
really, really like the top 5 here. I think the top 5 works really, really well. Plus Don Fan. I think that 6 works really, really well together. That's just kind of the way I looked at it. I think it's an excellent Firewater Grass core to start off with, which is it's always nice to have things that you know are going to cover each other. I just rated a lot how much different mons can kind of be put into different roles here. Like you can run Delphox bulkier, you can run Delphox more offensively, you can run Breloom a multitude of ways. You can run Donphan more offensively if you wanted to. I like the options that Zach's going to have to be able to do different things in matchups.
Do you want me to go, EXO?
Yeah.
All right. The first thing I look at, I don't know why. It's every time I look at building a draft team, it's not types, it's not hazards or momentum, it's speed. And this team
Yeah.
has like none of it. It's needs a lot of Scarfers. It's gonna need, Quiver Dance of Pavilion to get any kind of speed going. If not, your faster like 110s are gonna just run their modest adamant on this team. And then another thing I looked at was the weaknesses are so glaring. Like fire, water, ice, fighting, ground, rock weaknesses, just right there. It's all very common offensive types that just gonna eat you alive. And I don't. That's why I rated this team, I think, 14th overall. It's got good points. Like hazards are okay. I don't think its momentum's that amazing, but 3 wish passers aren't bad, especially when Wigglytuff is one of them. So it's got some options. It's got a lot of creativity as well for the team.
True.
Yeah, I think that's the thing I liked about it. I liked its versatility.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think this team has Gen 4 syndrome, and I say that with like a good thing, kind of, where like you see a lot of these mods in there. A lot of them are like Gen 4, like you like them because they have good designs, because Gen 4 is a good a good gen.
Yeah,
But then you look at it, it's like, well, Honchkrow, no, I mean it's not that good. Like offensively, it's okay, but like you kind of want a defensive flying in this position, because even though you're like you're weak to rock a ton, because I don't know why Vivillon's here, honestly, but you want a defensive flying because you're pretty ground weak. You're there was another one here. Oh yeah, you're fighting weak as well. So like you want a defensive flying type that isn't weak to the same types.
Fighting.
Yeah, and honestly, Honchkrow is kind of meh. And then there's like a lot of mons here that look good, but in practice they're really not. Like Wigglytuff looks great because it has a lot of things that you need, but it doesn't usually do well. Vivillon, same thing. You have Glaceon, which is good, but also not at the same time. I'd say it's pretty good.
doesn't
Ditto,
have coverage. That's the issue with Glaceon. It's got
yeah.
Shadow Ball.
Yo, it's got Water Pulse. Okay.
Okay, you're right.
Ditto's okay. I don't know. I think this team, the biggest thing is it has so many weaknesses that it's really hard to switch into like any mon with coverage.
Yeah. Hey, did all be great against one team, Tyrantrum team?
True.
I don't. Oh, I do play Zac actually. I think. Do I play Zac?
Yeah,
think
I
do.
have no idea if you do. I'm just
I
saying.
think I do actually. I mean, I did some mock builds the other day, so I have all 5 teams written down.
I just think to any potent setup sweeper, Ditto is just disgusting. So.
I do play Zac. I do play Zac.
Yeah, watch out for the Ditto. It's probably
Week 3. Thanks for the tip.
You're welcome.
I actually noticed
Alright.
we probably could have put ranks like so that people know what slide we're on. Oh well, it's fine.
Oh yeah, probably. I have no idea.
It's fine.
13,
Maybe
12, 11, 10, 9. Oh, we're right in the halfway. This is number 8 right here.
perfect. All right,
Lovely.
number 8, Chris Reed. Okay, I have
No, 7. This is 7. Sorry, I thought we were on sack still. Chris is 7.
All right. Well, 7, Chris Reed, and I personally want to hear what you want to say about it, Dragons, because you were talking a lot of hype about this, so I kind of want to hear it.
Okay. I know you're looking at this team and it looks like the lowest of low tier right here, but like look at that type chart. It's all green. I don't know if I've ever seen that before, where you've matched your weaknesses and your strengths in types so perfectly that you're not weak to any particular type. That's astounding to me. And then you've also got a shitload of pivoters. You've got 4, 5, 6 different 7 because Gold Duck. So you've got 7 different pivoters. You've also got good hazards with spikes and rockers. And I mean, Mo and Flygon aren't the best defoggers, but if you needed to, you could run it because this team is a little webs weak. It doesn't want to get hit by a webs. But necessarily, I kind of like the team. Probo Pass is a non-mon, but It could have. I could just imagine myself having fun with this team.
Yeah, I think it's one of those where I think, Chris, if you use all your pieces properly over the course of the 5 weeks, you'll do really, really well with this.
Yeah.
It's a case of making sure you manage those pieces right, because it's got all the pieces there to be really successful for sure. Excellent speed tiers as well, which I think is the only thing Andy forgot to mention.
Yeah. It's pretty good. A good scarf options, honestly. Like you would be surprised how hard like scarf gold duck hits, and it hits.
Let's not forget Swift Swim options if he plays Kyler as well, which he might do.
Or Cloud9. Turn it off.
True.
He's got double intimidate. He's got four levitators. Sorry, or triple intimidate. Holy shit! Yeah, like I don't know. He's got two of the best abilities in the game.
You mean 4
and he's got a
levitators?
stack load of 4 of them. I should have said. He's just got stack load of good abilities and decent mons, and they kind of just cover each other well. I don't know. That's just my opinion on it.
You guys both, now looking at you guys both did rate him high. Now, I think you guys are focusing way too much on the type chart because you guys have to look at the actual mons that these type charts are working for. You got an Arbok, okay. You got a Probopez.
And?
You've got a Golduck. You've got there are some really sus mons here. I'm just gonna say that. Plus, where's the offensive pressure? You got a Tauros, okay.
Hey.
Yeah.
Don't sleep on Specs Rotom.
No, yeah, you could throw a
Rotom.
Specs. You could throw a Specs or a Band on anyone. I completely agree. I'm talking about generally a base breaker. Tauros is the only one here. Houndoom, sure, it's
really funny to go from this team to the next team.
Yeah, that's gonna be
I just think this team is definitely worse than the rest of the teams that we'll go over. So I don't know how. I don't know. I think the team is okay. I'm not completely saying it's the worst team in the world. I'm just saying you kind of want some more offensive pressure here. That's all I'm saying.
That's fair.
Chris, if you're watching, the other two of us rated you very, very highly.
Yeah. I just like the funness of this team. I don't know what it is. I just look at this team and I smile. I'm yeah, this looks like I could have fun. I don't know. Let's
Should
move
I talk
on.
about myself?
Yeah.
Well, hold on. I think us two should talk about it first. Then, if you want to add something,
fair enough. Yeah, fair enough. That actually sounds good.
You go first, then Exo.
Oh man. All right. Okay. So
you rated him best.
Did I?
Yeah, you rated out of the three of us. Yeah, you rated him second.
True. Okay. Wow. All right. Also, wow. You guys really didn't like this team. All right. Well,
I mean, it's high middle pack. That's what I think that's fair for this.
I put myself 7th, I think. Or 8th. I put myself 8th.
Okay. Well, I think the first thing I initially look at on every team is, can I see every mon coming to practically every game? And there's not many maybe Matang that might not come to a few, but it has its uses here where I can actually see it come to games. So that's a plus, because where you need to draft 10 mons and most, if not all, can come, I think see it as a plus. You got offensive pressure with Tyrantrum and Swellow. You've got and Hatterene, I guess, if you want to count that. You got Jellicent and Umbreon that are really good defensive core. You've got a lot of defensive options here, like Rotom Fan, Weezing's pretty good, and the speed tiers aren't bad. Honestly, there's not much wrong with this team that I see. I think if you play this correctly, I mean, you're going to be fine. I think you're going to be prepping pretty fast.
Okay, I'll go next. So, the reason I have this team slightly... Actually, the team that comes next, I have even lower than Blue Cat. I just love this team. I just don't see a world where... It's got 6 Pokemon moves, or 6 box syndrome. You can only bring 6 of this core. And you need all of these things to do a lot. You need the Swallow Tyrantrum almost every time. You also need you're gonna need to bring Jellicent almost every time. I feel like Weezing's gonna be really important for this team as well all the time. So, when are you bringing the rest of your mons? You're gonna have to really fight for these like last 2 slots on what you absolutely need to bring. And then also the hazard setters, like Matang is your best consistent setter. And how many times you bringing Matang?
Every game, I bet you are.
I mean, he might need to because it's a good steel type with Eviolite, but it doesn't really put a lot of pressure either. It could get set up on pretty quick, and then the momentum is just really poor as well. That's so getting in that Tyrantrum and that Swellow, it's gonna be very difficult. So that's kind of what I put it upper middle because it's got a lot of strengths, but like it's also got quite a bit of glaring weaknesses as well.
Yeah, I'll tell you right now, I wanted Zarina over Lurantis, which
I
unfortunately got taken. So that was kind of the idea that was going to help the momentum issue there, but yeah, that ended up being a bit of a problem. I mean, Baton Pass Umbreon is still very solid, and I've used it before quite well.
Sorry, I forgot about that. So 3.
Yeah. I just I don't have much time for prep wise for this season, so I was like, okay, I'm just gonna draft the big dumb strong button moves. So there's Tyrantrum and Swallow. There are very few teams that can deal with both of them at the same time. It's very, very difficult. So I'm kind of relying on them blasting through. Basically, that's the plan. And I've got kind of the bulky things in there to cover defenses quite well, as I just wanted Zarina over Lurantis, which was the only thing I lost out on pretty much.
I do want to say one thing real quick: is Tyrantrum, Swallow, and Jellicent are probably the best 3 combination, because it means you can't scald the Tyrantrum. Because Jellicent just goes and water absorbs it, and that's huge.
The number of resistances in doing a bit of pre-prep, the number of resistances Jellicent has is ridiculous.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's a little absurd. It's a good mon, guys. If you've never drafted Jellicent, even just like in a regular draft, draft it. It's really good.
Yep.
Yeah, it's my first time using it, so I've got high hopes.
Oh yeah, it's one of my favorites of all time, honestly.
And it can't get set up on. I mean, not easily because it can chunk as well. So
it can chunk, yeah.
All right, we ready? Keep going.
One more thing I do want to add. I actually like Lurantis over Serena here because it gives you more points, and it does virtually the same thing, and people can't just freely set up sticky webs on you. So.
Oh yeah, fair enough.
Also, you might have trouble with like freeze dry because freeze dry kind of runs through your team.
Yes, I did see that when I was building. Yeah.
A lot of teams struggle with freeze dry though. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, true.
I'm very glad I don't play the Hail Core, I'll put it that way.
Yeah, well, okay. I guess. Let's go on to the next one here, though. We have Ace Jake's team, and I really like this team, and I understand why you guys don't, but I want to hear from you guys.
You go first.
7th. I still like it quite a bit.
Yeah.
It's just got a ridiculous amount of momentum. Look at that. Look at them all. Which I highly rate it. I highly rate that. I think the main issue I had looking at it is it is quite slow. For the most part, outside of Amberpomb, it struggles for speed. Which against teams with faster mons like Lapras' team, is going to really struggle because it's just slower than everything.
Yeah.
I guess the reason I don't like it, I just don't feel like it puts enough pressure on. I know there's a Chandelure, an Ambipom, and a Heracross, but like I feel like this team just gets set up on really easily. Like Tyrantrum press D-Dance once, and then this entire team's done. Like, what does it do? It's got Gligar, and Gligar's. And I think Tyrantrum's got Ice Fang too. So goodbye Gligar. So I just feel like it doesn't have a way to deal with setup sweepers, and I just feel like that's gonna hurt it more than it's gonna help it.
That's interesting. I mean, I could see a few things that it could beat setup sweepers with. Like, I mean, Aromatisse has stuff like Encore and stuff like that. You've got Roar on Blastoise, and a lot of these mons, they're tanky enough to take a hit and dish it back. Not all, but I'm saying most can take a hit. Scarf Heracross, really popular. Also hits like a truck. Plus it has Moxie. the combination of stuff like Magneton plus Gligar defensively is definitely really good. Then you have Heracross that works well with the Magneton with weaknesses as well. So I think the team works really well together. The only problem I have with this team is the speed tiers. Yeah, you could probably fix it somehow, but I think overall this team is really hard to deal with.
I feel like that's also a glaring thing. Like, necessarily to the teams we have higher up on the list, like, I don't see harsh weaknesses. And you put number 1 on this, I feel like I could point out things. I don't know. Like speed tiers is a big thing. That's like that's the reason Brayden was like first on the chopping block. Like Ambipom as your speed tier is not necessarily like yay for me. Like sure
The-
you
the
can
other
run
thing-
Scarf on
the-
these
yeah.
mons, but so can you up on Brayden's team. So it's not really a fix to your problem.
The only other thing I pointed out that could be something to point at is I feel like this team might struggle with bulky waters a bit,
Yeah.
Yeah, but there is
just
none.
in terms of you're
So-
relying on Magneton a lot.
It's okay, no one
That-
drafted them. It's fine.
Hey, that's not true. I did. I think you did too, Exo.
Well, alright,
I
look.
have a Jellicent.
The funny part is all these top teams have bulky waters.
Defensive
Ah,
waters.
it's crazy.
I wonder why. It's almost like they're really good.
Yeah.
All right, we go into the next.
Yeah, let's go on
Yeah.
this one here. We got Zip, strike 'em down. All right.
I love your team name. I'm sorry, I gotta say that. Super Substrikers is a great name. I don't know why.
Okay.
That's the first thing I'll say.
All right.
Seeing this one in action for week 1 made me appreciate how good it actually is. I don't know if I would have put it as high as I have without having seen it work.
Oh man, you guys saw those replays? I see. I wait just to like, first impression kind of.
He's slaughtered. I'm not gonna lie. A Sand team versus a Rain team, you would think Sand team's gonna have the massive disadvantage, especially when he's got Moltres and then Gigalith and Dugtrio Alola. He slapped it and didn't even bring
Yeah.
Sceptile nor Zebstrika.
That's crazy.
So-
Like, Kyler is a very good player as well. Like he hasn't played in a while, but
Yeah.
Kyler made playoffs in Gardevoir last time he played.
Oh, I know, but I don't know. Just watching Araquanid just claim 5 kills was disgusting.
Yeah.
So
Well, I mean,
I-
Araquanid and Rain.
I like the little Sandcore that it's got going on. I think that works really, really nicely. It's another team that falls victim to that 110 to 90 speed gap,
Yeah.
which is my main criticism with it. I feel like it could maybe be overwhelmed by some electric types, depending on how well Dugtrio can do in certain situations. But otherwise, it's so bulky just naturally, while it's also able to run offensive stuff. Like Moltres can be multiple things, with Cavalier can be multiple things, Gigalith can be more offensive, Araquanid can do multiple things. It's got so much variety and so many different ways it can play the same thing, whilst having 2 of the best defoggers in the format, realistically, that kind of work with itself. It's got okay momentum options. Like Moltres is just a very reliable one. It's got good, that's literally... It's got webs as well, didn't even... Yeah.
He's got webs and he's got double unburden with Misty Surge as well. He's got a lot of options for this team. Which makes prep for him extremely hard.
Yeah, like it's got a lot of good things going for it.
Yeah.
It's like I feel like this team could go it's 1-4 now, or it could go 5-0. It's like there's so many options, so you have to choose really hard what you want to bring. But there's also so many options that the enemy has to prepare for, which also makes it a really hard to prep.
Yeah.
I
Good. I think the good thing is, I think I play Zeb. I don't think I play them until after my exams are over, so I actually get to prep properly for that one,
nice.
which is excellent.
So you put your thoughts in now.
Yeah, so I mean, you guys mentioned basically everything here, but there's so many options. You got the I was gonna mention the Misty Surge plus 2 and burdens, but you also have Mons that can also counter other weather teams. For instance, you have Araquanid, obviously, like we saw with Rain, extremely strong. You've got Moltres under Sun, really strong. Nothing for Hail, but that's fine. The only there's a few problems I have with is it few? Maybe it's just like one or two, but the Illumise feels kind of weird when you have two other bug types. I just feel like it doesn't do much here. I understand why it's here though. It is pretty cheap, but do you really need 12 mons here? I don't think so. I mean, I guess it's fine, but
So I think what he did is he drafted a 1-point mon, and then he drafted Sableye for whatever reason. Also doesn't have Prankster on the document. Sorry, but I don't know. Double Prankster is also like scary. Just
true.
realized he's got double Prankster. So
Yeah, I think Sableye works well on this team. I saw it initially. He was asking for like a 6-pointer, and I was like, well, or is it 6 or 7? Well, I said Sableye's right there. You need a dark and a ghost, and it works for both, and it's good. And so
there you go.
There you go. Yeah, I don't know. I think
like
this team is really good. Where did we all put him? I don't even remember.
I think I put him
sick.
pretty high.
I
I put him second.
6 second. Huh. I put him 7.
I'm scared to fight this team. This is my week 5 fight.
It's my week 4, I think.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. I feel I'm just gonna have fun playing Substrike him down, and this is his first time playing low tier. He said as well.
Wow.
So good job. You drafted a good team.
Yeah,
for sure.
All right.
Someone who definitely isn't their first low tier draft.
Oh, man.
Oh, yep.
Pineapple.
We're in the top 3, guys.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, these are the top 3 teams in our opinions. This is all so it's not even if you're last, you're fine. You're okay.
He got Delibird. He actually should have just been number 1.
True. Oh, hold on. Let me change that. Okay.
We'll just move him up. Where do we start with this?
Let me start here. So, initially looking at this team, there are a lot of 4 times weaknesses. Zygarde, Mega, Whimsicott, Scrafty, Delibird, if you want to count it. There's a lot of 4 times weaknesses, which can be a pretty big problem in low tier because there are some mons that have enough coverage to hit to have, obviously there's 2 that are dual rock weak, but I mean it's Delibird, so it probably doesn't come. But there's a lot of Pokemon that could cover those types. Being ice and ice in general is just really strong. It's again for each pretty good, but the other thing is that the speed tiers are good. I will say that speed tier is pretty good. And the team in itself is really colorful. And if you guys know me from the Forge, you guys know that I love colorful teams. So, yeah,
They get placed higher.
Of course.
I had. Yeah, sure, go for it.
I really like. Usually, I'm super against double Dragon Cores, especially when they're both Ice weak. But just having the choice of, am I going to delete you with my special Dragon type, or am I going to set up in your face with Zygarde and one-shot you? And then he's just got a lot of offensive pressure. Miss Magius can just specs Shadow Ball at free will. He's got Mega with Tinted Lens, can bug buzz his way through most teams. Then he's got like great defensive support with Copper, Whimsicott, Claydol, Lantern. Even type Null, like he's pretty tanky with his Eviolite, and he can put some damage out there with his normal type moves. I can't think off the top of my head, but this team's gonna put a lot of offensive pressure, and then you're not gonna be able to put a lot of it back out because he's got such good defensive backbone too.
Yeah, I think I have 3 things to add, really. Firstly, it maybe slightly lacks like a mid-80s speed tier, but that's not a huge deal. I also feel like the team might be slightly prone to being worn down quite easily in kind of longer games. There's a lack of recovery on the team overall, which could be a slight problem. But I really, really love how Mega can realistically run speed boost on this team. Because there's enough things that deal with steel types on the team for it to be able to do that. It doesn't get forced into running Tinted Lens like it does a lot of the time on teams. Like there's options for speed boost there.
I like that. I just like this team.
Yeah, like there's nothing you can say like negative things about it, but you just look at it like, yeah, it's a team. It's a really good team.
Also, another thing about this team that Lucat had the problem with, I feel like you're gonna struggle picking 6 Pokemon to bring every week because I feel like everything needs to come, and you only get 6 mons. So
Yeah.
just good luck outside Delibird because that's obviously coming every game. So that one's
Don't
locked
sleep on
in.
Time
But
Null either. Time Null is a good mon.
Yeah,
it is actually. But,
All right, let's go on to the next one here.
And before everyone claims it to be rigged, I was actually mainly responsible for the top 2 because I put them as my top 2, and neither Exo or Andy did so, but they've ended up here.
Hey, to be fair, I rated myself so low because I thought it would be biased if I rated myself high. Because I genuinely think I probably have the top team. But that's my
I put you as
opinion.
number 1. I put you as
Yeah.
number 1.
I just didn't want to feel biased and put myself like 1 or 2.
Yeah.
So, you guys talk and then I'll go.
Yeah, I guess since I put it first, I'll go for it. I just look at the top 4 immediately when I saw this, and I was like, wow, I love that top 4 in pretty much every way. It's the power it has throughout it. It's the speed tiers that it has, even within that 4 that it covers is great. The momentum that's within that 4 as well, and just the 4 mons themselves are all really, really strong. And it's such a good base to go from that you actually couldn't do that much wrong from there. You do fall victim to the 110 to 90 speed gap, which so many people did, but otherwise the speed tiers are perfect. Like you literally have a 90, 80, 70, 60, 50, which is really funny. I just love the momentum options in general. Look at them all. It's not like Mons where it's like, oh, you have 3 different ones. It kind of pads out how bad that looks. Look how many different Mons are in there as well that have options. I just like it a lot, pretty much. That's the wrong team I'm looking at.
Okay.
Hmm.
Exo?
Okay. Yeah, I can agree with your points. I think the team overall is really strong. I mean, I do want to mention though that the speed is only warranted by like Raichu, which Raichu's fine. I just think it's not the best mon to be padding that out. I mean, you got Crobat and Porygon Z, which are really good mons, and you got like a Raichu, which on your team that has a lot of good mons, gonna be kind of hard to bring. So, prepping for it. I mean, do you really need to prep hard for it? I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe.
I'd be worried about Raichu. It's got Surf. It deals with a lot of your ground types.
I mean, it's not bad.
It's
not bad.
That's actually why I drafted it, Raichu. It's because of speed, and then it's got the Surf option to deal with the ground types. Outside of that, it's just there for speed tiers.
I guess, yeah, it's not bad. Also, Corsola Galar and Morgrim. Corsola Galar looks great on paper until you realize there's a lot of mons with knockoff, and once it loses that Eviolite, it is practically dead. It doesn't do much. Morgrim, it does one thing and only one thing, so kind of not hard to prep for. Berserker, I understand why you got it because there wasn't much left, but I still feel like it's not that good, especially because you have a lot more mons that can offensively push pressure, like Passimian, like Crobat, like even Swampert. You know, there's a lot more mons that do what Berserker's job is, but better. So I feel like there's a lot of mons here that I don't see bringing much. There's a lot of really good mons, and a lot of mons that work together well, like Crobat, Porygon Z, Swampert. You know, they're all good. But I failed to see where you bring a lot of these lower mons. But other than that, I think this team is really good.
I had 3 little criticisms with it, which I guess is probably a good thing to point out. I think it's slightly weak to water types, just because Ice Beam exists, which is obviously going to kind of delete Appleton. So I can see that being a slight issue. I feel like the lack of a reliable knock switching for Corsola could also be a slight problem, and then being reliant on Colossal for hazard removal, but those are all kind of smaller things.
Alright, so I'm gonna say, first of all, I would have had so much of a better team. I got sniped to actual death. Yeah, especially by Exo. I swear to God, Exo and I had like the same plan moving into this. Outside of like top 3. Because I was struggling because he would pick right before me. And then I would be like, well, shit. There goes my mind. And then the backside of me would also snipe my Pokemon. Like, I wanted Miss Magius. I didn't want this course to look Alar. I needed a Ghost type. And I'm like, I could probably use some defensive mons on this team. Just slap it in there. I have no other option. That's not like a 5-point lower Ghost type. So I went with that. Raichu, I wanted different electric types. Then I just ended up on Raichu. Don't sleep on Appleton ever. That mon is destructive. It's the kill leader in Forge.
It's pretty good, yeah.
It's disgusting. You can't break it. You just run defense, and I just run defense and specs almost every single time, and you can't break it, and it'll just one shot you, and you can't do anything about it. And I like when my webs options. I understand why my team's weak. I didn't want Berserker either, but this is where we're at.
Yeah, all the steals went so quickly.
So quick. I wasn't expecting it. I was like, I'm gonna get my top 4, and then I'll get maybe a mid-tier steel type. Yeah, no, they were all gone.
Yeah, everyone panicked. I mean, it's because a lot of people are new to low tier, so everyone immediately panicked and went, "We need a steal."
And then I panicked because all the steals were going. I'm like, I've got a 5th pick Berserker.
Yeah, like I took 7th pick Matang, which was a bit early.
Yeah,
Chris took 4th pick Probopass. Like,
yeah, people were just snatching them, and it was scary.
Yeah, I think I kind of started that thing, but
maybe
because of my second pick. But we'll get to that.
I don't know. I like my team. It's got good options. It's got good pivot. That's what I like the most about it.
yeah,
It's not bad. Yeah, it's pretty good.
I wanted Persimmon as well. By the way, that was gonna be one of my picks.
I sniped, I think, 5 or 6 people with Persimmon, and so as revenge, everybody else sniped me back. So,
True. Yeah, you deserve no.
All right, let's go on to number 1, EXO.
Oh man, why am I here? All right, why don't you guys talk about me?
I just talked.
I went first last time.
Fuck. Okay. I rated you I think I rated you the worst out of us 3. I just think, not necessarily that it's bad. He's got a Sun Core going on, but if you just ignore the Sun Core and you look at that top 7 Pokemon, you go, holy shit, how the fuck am I gonna win? How do you break that? Indeedee, Virizion, Steelix, Vaporeon. It's got offensive pressure and defensive pressure just with those 4 Pokemon. And they hit for so many different options. So it's oppressive, and then you've got a mini Sun Core that you could attach on it. If you don't want to deal with the other weather, you could bring Altaria, which can set up sweep if he wants to. The only reason I think I put this team lower, it doesn't have good pivot options. It's got flip turn volt switch, and I don't know if you're ever running baton pass on Diancie, but you're gonna have problems bringing in Indeedee Virizion to go let it do its work. But I just think this team is really good. Oh, Indeedee I have to point this out because it's really good. Sorry. Indeedee plus Virizion. Dark type moves is the only thing Indeedee's weak to. Virizion's got Justified. You put 2 and 2 together there. Virizion just wins after it gets the +1. It's good. Sorry. All right.
I'm a huge fan of Indeedee. I used it last off season. I got it in round 6, and it got 8 kills in 5 games. I also used it it was SPD on minors, I think. It got 9 kills in 8 games in regular format. It's really, really good. I enjoy it a lot. I actually paired it with a Steelix as well on that team.
Let's go.
It's a mon that just does so much and pairs so well with an offensive fighting type, which Virizion does really, really well with the Justified thing. It works really, really well. I rate Diancie and Vaporeon a lot as well in terms of providing stuff at the back for your team. I think as literally the top 7 is so strong, and then there's just a Sun Core tacked on to the end of it that is very, very scary. The only thing I could maybe see being a slight problem is Venusaur as the fighting resist is maybe a little bit suspicious in certain matchups, but you've also got a Diancie which deals with a lot of fighting types okay. But that was kind of my little nitpick and kind of a lack of reliable hazard removal, although Frost and Stun Tank are decent, but then the team isn't weak to rocks particularly, so it's not a massive problem. But that was kind of it. Just synergizes well, and I like all the mons on the team.
Okay.
Oh, one last thing. Every team, almost every single team, struggles against Zygarde 10. This team does not deal with a Zygarde, or does not struggle with a Zygarde, which is very rare to see in a low tier draft. So like that's also.
I have a Lurantis.
Yeah, well, I don't know how many hits Lurantis is tanking compared to Versus.
It's not that many. I did calc it.
Especially if they
Oh,
go
yeah.
for like Skitter Smack or something, or whatever bug move that is.
Outrage is a 2-shot.
Oh well.
Yeah, Verizian can tank that though, so I don't know. Good team, EXO. Here's.
Well, okay. So initially, let me just say it. So initially, me drafting, what I do, well, Dragons can attest to this. I try to completely break the low tier tier list. Okay, that's what I do in like every other low tier, besides Forge, where like try random stuff. So what I did was I know what was broken from the season that we used this low tier format for, and I was like, okay, well, Ndidi moved up +1. Okay, Steelix moved up like 3, so I had to grab that because Steelix is great. Virizion, I feel like should move up, which it probably will next season. Vaporeon, just a great mon overall for everything here. Diancie's great.
And then cheap, disgusting Sun.
Well, hold on, let me get to that. Hold on. Skuntank moved up, and yeah, why don't we just go on to there's a Sun team which gives me infinite value because that was nowhere near Forge stuff. Venusaur does not have a good switch in if I run the Sun team. I don't even need to run it because all 10 of my mods could come to any game because they're all really good. I don't even need to run Weather to stop other Weather because I have a Cloud9 Altaria. Like, there's so many options that I have here. And like you said before, I have so many bulky options too with Vaporeon, Diancie, Steelix. And I do want to mention this because you did say the only weakness to Indeedee is Dark. There's also Bug. But I do have a Steelix and a Diancie and stuff, so I'm fine.
Okay, most types resist Bug. That's not really a weakness.
True. But yeah, so that's another reason why I picked Virizion. So yeah, overall, I got like infinite value, and I think I kind of broke the other tier list. So yeah.
I blame Weather being allowed on Lucat. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm not. Well, we allowed it the first season. No one brought it up then.
But was I in the first season?
You weren't.
And
No.
look what happened this season. 4 teams are running Weather.
No one even. I don't think anyone drafted Weather last time.
Really?
It's kind of weird.
Yeah, that was the crazy part.
I think it's literally because I brought it up in general chat and got the chat stirring, and then everybody was like, "Oh my god, wait, Weather's allowed?"
Yeah.
Yeah, because the thing I will point out is the rocks are banned, so you only ever get 5 turns, but it probably still should have been higher in points for sure.
Yeah, Kingdra and stuff, Venusaur, I think they all should have moved up at least a few points.
Yeah, it was an oversight on my part. I tried to do the tiers really quickly, and it didn't go that great. There was a Galarian Slowking in 4 points for a while.
What?
Yeah, there was.
Yo, that's infinite value. Give me that.
It was a mistype on my behalf. I meant to ban it, but I typed in 4 by accident.
4? You mean 400? Damn.
No, I think it's because there must be a G-Max form right before it. Maybe Kingler. And I didn't skip over Kingler by accident. Put Coughing's Point in Kingler G-Max. Put Coughing's Point in. Sorry, not regular Slowking's Point. So I don't know what happened. It was weird.
Yeah. Alright, so
that's it.
Yeah, these are all the scores if you guys want to browse them. And yeah, so me and Andy or Dragons, we are 1 point off of each other, which is kind of crazy. I mean, we had some pretty good teams. Goddamn.
It's also like Pineapple Wizard, like he's also 3 points away from me, so like that's quite a big difference from typically like the top 3 differential. Usually they kind of alternate pretty close to each other.
Yeah.
So I don't know. What do you want to say about that?
Yeah. All right. Well, that is it. And I do want to say before we go, because I didn't shout out myself yet. if you guys want to join a main league for low tier, definitely join. I'll put a link in the description. The Forge, where I'm a commissioner. Dragons is a mod. You guys will have fun. If you guys have fun in the TEC, you guys will have fun there. It's a main league. We do 8 weeks. It's practically the same thing. Our tier list. This was from our low tier list. I think maybe season 8 or something, or 7.
It'll be the one before your most recent one because I copied it from the last off season.
8 then. Okay. So yeah, we changed stuff from this season, and then next season, season 10, we're gonna change even more. So yeah, guys, if you're interested, definitely join that. But yeah, guys, what else do you guys want?
More importantly, if you enjoy it, join regular TEC in the regular season. That's what you're here
That
for.
too.
Of course.
But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed.
Enjoy the season, everybody, as well. Enjoy yourselves.
Yeah.
All right, guys, and that is it. So we'll see you guys next time. All right, have a good night.
Good night.